Phyllis's turmoil and Daniel's struggle in The Young and the Restless. The drama in The Young and the Restless continues to intensify, with Phyllis Summers facing the fallout from a career crisis while Daniel Romalotti Jr. finds himself struggling with his own personal and professional challenges. As the characters navigate their complicated relationships and high-stakes decisions, viewers are in for a roller coaster of emotions and revelations. Phyllis's career crisis, the end of an era? At GCAC, Phyllis sits, anxiously waiting for Daniel Romalotti Jr. as she watches the bustling cafe. She can't help but reflect on the rapid changes in her life. Her career is in freefall after being fired by Billy Abbott, and she's struggling to find her footing. Her son, Daniel, is distancing himself from her, and she feels the weight of her actions bearing down on her. When Billy eventually arrives and sits down with her, the tension is palpable. Phyllis knows this conversation will be pivotal. She has been holding on to the hope that there could still be a place for her at Abbott Communications, but Billy is quick to shatter that illusion. He tells her, bluntly, that she has no other choice but to leave the company. Phyllis, always the survivor, tries to bargain, pleading for another chance, but Billy remains firm in his decision. This moment marks a significant turning point for Phyllis as she realizes her future with Abbott Communications has come to a definitive end. The harsh truth hits her hard, and she must now figure out how to rebuild her career from the ground up. The emotional impact of being fired by Billy Abbott, someone she has long had a complicated relationship with, will undoubtedly leave a lasting mark on Phyllis. She is forced to confront not just her professional struggles, but also the emotional void left by her strained relationships with those closest to her. Daniel struggles, avoiding his mother's expectations. Meanwhile, Daniel Romalotti Jr. is grappling with his own demons. As he continues his guitar lessons with Tessa Porter, he is making strides in his personal growth, but his relationship with Phyllis is still strained. Although Daniel has been making progress, he is still avoiding his mother, and their communication remains distant and disconnected. At Crimson Lights, Daniel opens up to Tessa about his progress, discussing the lessons he's been learning, both musically and personally. But the conversation takes a somber turn when he admits that he's been avoiding Phyllis. Daniel acknowledges the difficult dynamic between him and his mother, but he knows deep down that he needs to carve his own path in life. His journey to self-discovery is one he must take alone. When Phyllis calls Daniel to inform him of the shocking news, Billy has fired her, Daniel is caught between his desire to help his mother and his need to distance himself from her emotional baggage. Phyllis, feeling desperate, pleads with him for support, but Daniel remains torn. He knows Phyllis needs to figure things out on her own, but he can't help feeling conflicted about abandoning her in her time of need. Daniel's growing distance and unspoken connections. As Daniel continues to reflect on his fractured relationship with Phyllis, he admits that there is someone else in his life who truly understands him. However, he refrains from naming this person to Tessa. The unspoken connection between Daniel and this mystery person hints at a deeper, unaddressed issue that Daniel is still grappling with. Could this person be someone from his past? Someone who has been a constant support to him despite his personal turmoil? The mystery surrounding this person's identity only adds to the intrigue, leaving fans eager to see where Daniel's emotional journey will take him next. Phyllis and Daniel's emotional battle. The dynamic between Phyllis and Daniel has always been one of love, frustration, and tension. Phyllis has always been a strong, independent woman who has sought control over every situation, but now, she's at a crossroads. With her career in tatters and her relationship with her son strained, Phyllis is forced to confront the consequences of her actions. Daniel, on the other hand, is in a vulnerable place. While he has made significant strides in his personal development, his relationship with Phyllis continues to be a painful reminder of the fractured bond between them. As he navigates his emotional growth, Daniel must decide how much of himself he is willing to give to his mother's needs without losing himself in the process. The tension between mother and son is palpable, and their journey toward reconciliation seems uncertain. Phyllis's desperation to regain control of her life and career could push her further away from Daniel, but it could also serve as the catalyst for them to rebuild their relationship. The future of Phyllis, Daniel, and their relationships. As the story progresses, Phyllis and Daniel will undoubtedly face many challenges, both professionally and personally. Phyllis's journey to rebuild her career will be a major focus, as she seeks to reclaim her place in the world of Genoa City. But the road to redemption is not an easy one, and Phyllis will have to confront her past mistakes and fight for her future. For Daniel, the challenge will be finding his own path while dealing with the complexities of his relationship with his mother. His emotional growth will be tested as he navigates the tension between loyalty to Phyllis and his need for independence. Whether or not he and Phyllis can find common ground remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: their relationship will never be the same. In the end, both Phyllis and Daniel will have to find their own way. Phyllis's future in Genoa City is uncertain, but her determination to survive and succeed is unwavering. For Daniel, the question remains: can he reconcile with his mother while also moving forward with his own life? As The Young and the Restless continues to unfold, fans can expect more emotional turmoil, twists, and unexpected turns for Phyllis, Daniel, and the other beloved characters in Genoa City. The stakes are high, and the drama is only just beginning. Billy Abbott is at a major crossroads in his life, and the decision he's facing isn't just going to impact him, it has the potential to send shockwaves through the lives of those around him. The choice to sever ties with Phyllis Summers and continue running Abbott Communications on his own is a significant one. But the question remains: is this a sign that Billy is finally maturing and putting his business priorities first, or will he regret it when Phyllis inevitably seeks revenge? Billy Abbott, growing up or making a mistake? Billy Abbott has always been a complicated character in The Young and the Restless. He's a man of considerable potential but also someone who has struggled with personal and professional setbacks in the past. His relationship with Phyllis is a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs, and now he's made the bold decision to fire her. This could either be the beginning of a new chapter of maturity for Billy or a huge mistake that will come back to haunt him. Firing Phyllis is not a decision that comes lightly. Phyllis is not just a highly capable businesswoman, but she's also a force to be reckoned with. For Billy to kick her out of Abbott Communications is essentially to put a target on his back, one that Phyllis will not hesitate to strike at. Billy may think he's in the right, but Phyllis won't go down quietly. She will make sure of it. This could lead to a war between them, with Billy facing the consequences of his actions. While this might seem like a smart business move in some respects, Billy must consider the fallout. Phyllis is no stranger to the game of power plays and backstabbing, and she won't just fade into the background. Billy may have won the battle by firing her, but the war could prove to be much harder to win. Jill Abbott and the weight of expectations. Billy isn't alone in this. His mother, Jill Abbott, has been pushing him to fix the problems at Chancellor Industries. However, while Jill wants Billy to fix things, she doesn't necessarily agree with all of his decisions. She's been a mentor and a guide for Billy throughout his career, but her vision of success may not align with his. If Billy's decision to cut ties with Phyllis doesn't go as planned, Jill might not be the supportive figure he hopes for. In fact, it could add more pressure to their already strained relationship. Jill is practical, and she understands that there's only so much room for mistakes when it comes to running a business. But she also knows that Billy needs to stand on his own and learn to make tough calls. The question is, does Billy have the maturity to rise to the challenge, or will this decision push him too far? Phyllis. Fired, but not finished. Phyllis Summers is a woman who does not take defeat lying down, and Billy's decision to fire her is only going to fuel her desire for revenge. Phyllis is no stranger to taking control of situations, and if Billy thinks she's just going to walk away quietly, he's gravely mistaken. Phyllis may have been fired from Abbott Communications, but that doesn't mean she's out of the game. She'll find a way to get back at Billy and the company, possibly using her connections and her business savvy to undermine him. Her fire has only been stoked by this betrayal, and now she will be more dangerous than ever. Phyllis isn't someone who stays down for long, and Billy will soon realize that. One of Phyllis's potential weapons is her son, Daniel Romalotti. While Daniel has distanced himself from his mother in the past, this situation could draw him back into her orbit. Phyllis will likely use this moment to push Daniel to take her side and perhaps even get involved in her plans for revenge. The relationship between mother and son is complex, but it's clear that Phyllis won't rest until she has something to gain from this situation. Billy and Sally, a new business partnership. While Billy has fired Phyllis, he's not alone in his efforts to move Abbott Communications forward. In a strategic move, Billy has turned to Sally Spectra to help him navigate the business world. Sally is a talented and creative force, and her skills could certainly help Abbott Communications grow in the competitive landscape. However, working with Sally will not be without its challenges. Sally is known for being a strong-willed individual, and her past relationships with people in the company may create tensions. Billy's decision to partner with Sally could either lead to great success or more complications. If he's able to work well with her, he might be able to turn Abbott Communications around. But if their partnership fails, Billy could be left with even bigger problems, especially as his relationship with Phyllis deteriorates. Sally will undoubtedly bring fresh ideas and perspectives to Abbott Communications, but she might also bring her own set of complications. Billy will need to navigate this new partnership carefully, balancing his desire to succeed with the potential pitfalls of working with someone like Sally. Phyllis, back to square one. Even though Phyllis has been fired from Abbott Communications, she's not done yet. Phyllis has a history of bouncing back from difficult situations, and this time will be no different. She'll likely try to take back control of her career, using her extensive business experience and connections to climb back to the top. Her next move might involve leveraging her relationship with Daniel or finding new ways to undermine Billy and Abbott Communications. Phyllis knows how to play the long game, and she's not going to let one setback define her. She will likely find a way to make her presence known in Genoa City again. Billy may have fired her, but she'll be plotting her next move and preparing for her comeback. The fallout, Billy's decision and its consequences. Billy's decision to fire Phyllis might seem like a good business move in the short term, but the long-term consequences could be severe. Phyllis will not let this slide, and she will make sure that Billy regrets his decision. The fallout from this decision will likely affect not just Billy and Phyllis, but also everyone around them. Jill will have her hands full trying to keep Billy on track, and if his decision backfires, she'll be forced to deal with the consequences. Phyllis, on the other hand, will not rest until she's taken back what she believes is hers. Her revenge will be calculated and precise, and Billy will have to brace himself for what comes next. In the end, Billy will have to decide whether he can continue to lead Abbott Communications successfully or if his decisions will cause the company to spiral out of control. The battle between Billy and Phyllis is far from over, and it's clear that the stakes have never been higher. Billy may have fired Phyllis, but he's just opened the door to a whole new set of problems. Whether or not he can survive the fallout remains to be seen. One thing is certain. This story is far from over, and the drama is only just beginning.